Hi, it's Fab Poli here. Welcome back to Biz Jet TV. And before we get into today's episode, which is about Boom Aerospace and their supersonic project called the Overture, I'd just like to encourage you to subscribe to Biz Jet TV, all about private aviation. Lots of good content here. Have a look around the channel when you finish watching this episode. Well, let's get straight into here to Boom Aerospace and what they're doing. Boom Aerospace is a company based in Colorado. They are building a prototype right now. It's going to be 2/3 scale of their supersonic jet. This is a company set up in 2014 by Blake Skoll, who worked previously in Silicon Valley and worked for Amazon as an engineer. Had the idea of developing the new Concorde, let's call it. And so he's developed a very, very good team, very experienced team. They are ahead of the game on the supersonic in the supersonic arena because they're actually building a prototype which is going to start flying next year. And this is very, very important. The airplane is going to fly at Mach 2.2, carrying 55 to 75 passengers across 4,500 nautical miles. Now you're thinking, oh, well then if it's carrying 70 passengers, it's not a private jet. Well, what I'm saying here, what I'm thinking, the reason why I'm covering this in this episode is because there's no problem for Boom Aerospace to develop a cabin for private aviation that carries 15 to 20 people. Now, of course, this is going to be a lot bigger cabin than its competitors. In the private jet space, I mean, because the other aeroplanes that are being designed for the private jet arena that fly supersonic are carrying about 10 to 12 people. The cabins are a lot smaller. People that do spend, I mean, the kind of money that this airplane is going to cost, it would $200 million in the first class passenger configuration, probably around about 250 million maybe, or a bit less for the private jet version. Because obviously, you know, someone that's going to spend a bit of money on the interior and they'll want it done in a certain way. It needs to look nice, this, that, the other. And plus people that have 250 million to spend on a jet are going to really want a nice interior. So other information about this aeroplane, 3 engines, which is good, especially over long stretches of water because of ETOPS. So you can go direct routings with the 3 engines, which you can't do with the 2 engines. The downside, let's call it downside, if it's going to be operated as a private jet, it's going to require 10,000 foot runway, which is 3,000 meters. And obviously, you know, a lot of private jet airports are less than that. I mean, a lot of people like to go in and out airfields are like 6,000 feet. This requires 10,000 feet. So there is a little bit of downside on that, but you know, you do get a lot of speed out of this. So it's going to get you around a lot quicker. So look around, but you know, if you look at places like China, where they are turning a lot of military air bases into airports and airports for private aviation, a lot of those runways are long. So you know, you'll be able to get in and out those airports with the Overture. So I think this is an aeroplane that is going to enter into the field of private jets. Also, if you look at the order book, they've got over 80 orders. We've got Virgin Atlantic on the order book. You've got Japan Airlines. These are serious airlines here that are looking at operating this aircraft. So I'm sure Boom Aerospace are also organizing the infrastructure for things like spare parts and that, because as I always say, airplanes do break, and it's not will it break or will it not break, because it will break, and it's what happens when it breaks. How soon does it get fixed? And so this is another important thing when you're looking at buying an aircraft, is to look at the manufacturer and how does the manufacturer support AOGs, or aircraft on ground as they call it. And that's the term. When an airplane breaks down, they call it AOG. So when an AOG happens, how soon does the manufacturer get an engineer with a spare part into action? And depending on where you operate, if say you're operating in Africa, you would want to see if that particular private jet manufacturer has a presence in Africa and how soon they can deploy spare parts with engineers to fix your airplane. So this is something that Boom Aerospace put into place. They're looking at a market of about 2,000 aircraft, and they have the capacity to build 100 a year. So this is really going to get into full scale once this goes. So as I said, they're going to start test flying next year with this 2/3 scale model of this they're calling the prototype XB1. Once all that goes well, they are looking at having this certified by 2023. So it's around the corner, really. We're going to see success here, I think, with Boom Aerospace. Definitely one to watch, and I'll be talking to them soon about the private jet interior, because I think there's a market for it, and I think these guys are ahead of the game. And with the larger cabin, I think this is going to appeal to a lot more customers in the private jet space than the smaller version of supersonic aircraft that are being designed currently. So that's all from Fab Poli here at Biz Jet TV. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, have a look around at the other episodes here. I'm sure you'll find other interesting content here, and also we've had a number of guests that have their own jets sharing their experience and that. And so that's all from Fab Poli at Biz Jet TV, and I'll see you on the next one.